Tonight, police are looking for the gunman who shot a 16-year-old boy in the face. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. The teenager was leaving a party in the college area when he was shot. News 8's Steve Price spoke with a witness and has an update on the teen's condition.
It's definitely not a new situation for there to be several parties in the college area the weekend before classes start here at San Diego State. But neighbors tell me this year was the worst they'd ever seen. One party ended with a 16-year-old shot in the face.
I hear a couple pop up, and next thing you know, they all scatter everywhere.
Gary Ho says it happened just before midnight, right outside his front door.
I come outside my house and I saw a lot of blood, at least 3 or 4 puddles right there. And this is a crazy night.
Gary is still finding bullet fragments on the sidewalk. Police say the 16-year-old victim was leaving a house party with some friends when a fight started with another group. Then neighbors heard the gunshots.
That was very scary. I looked out my window. I saw students or kids scrambling, running everywhere, running into different people's yards, just kind of panic mode.
This neighbor, who asked not to be identified, says the partying situation has gone from bad to worse.
There's always parties. I'm used to that. I've lived here a long time. You expect that to some extent, but this seemed really out of control.
San Diego State says the injured teen has no connection to the university, and they say the incident is in no way tied to the school. But they also acknowledge that some students did attend large parties in the area Saturday night and sent an email to students on Sunday saying in part, the behavior of some SDSU students last night is inconsistent with our community values and is unacceptable. The university also said it will be monitoring behavior in the neighborhood closely, and students found violating the code of conduct could face suspension. As for Saturday's shooting, neighbors say police arrived quickly, but the shooter was already gone. The injured teen was treated at a local hospital and has since been released. His mom tells us he has a long, tough recovery ahead of him. In the college area, Steve Price, News 8.
Another vaccine milestone tonight. The FDA has granted full approval to the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. President Biden is hoping this will prompt more people who have been reluctant to get the shot to now get vaccinated. He also had a message for business leaders today.
If you're a business leader, a nonprofit leader, a state or local leader who has been waiting for full FDA approval to require vaccinations, I call on you now to do that. Require it.
The Pentagon says now that full approval has been given, it will require all service members to receive the vaccine. No dates or timeline have been given yet.
Not long ago, it was a COVID treatment that showed promise. Now something called monoclonal antibody infusion is proving to be a godsend.
News 8's Steve Fiorina tells us there are some hoops to jump through, but they're worth it.
Thousands of San Diegans who have shown positive signs of COVID have been given monoclonal antibody infusion treatment, and it's worked well. Former President Trump was one of the first given the experimental treatments last year. It's now helping huge numbers of Americans.
Monoclonal antibody therapy is very effective for high-risk patients and prevents progression of disease and decreases the risk for hospitalization and death.
Who is considered high risk?
Patients who are high risk are those who are over 65, obese, immunocompromised, or have another underlying health condition, such as cardiovascular disease.
Concerns have been voiced over whether someone's been vaccinated.
Monoclonal antibodies are available to any high-risk patient, regardless of their vaccination status. So anybody who tests positive and is within the first few days of symptoms should be evaluated.
Worries, too, about the treatment changing a person's vaccination status or leading to a positive test for COVID.
The answer to both of those is no. It's an antibody, does not contain any of the virus or virus particles.
Early this year, some suffering from COVID found it difficult to get the treatment. Now it's readily available. Outpatients with mild to moderate symptoms within 10 days of the onset of those symptoms. 1 hour of infusion followed by 1 hour of observation.
So we don't have a waiting list per se, but we do have a institutionally approved system for assessing and ranking patients according to their risk status.
If you get sick, don't delay.
Once somebody is ill enough to require hospitalization or needs supplemental oxygen, they're no longer eligible for monoclonal antibody therapy, but there are other therapies available for hospitalized patients, such as remdesivir or steroids, for example.
UCSD only administers the infusions here at the Hillcrest facility, but there are many other hospitals and medical centers across San Diego where you can get yours. Steve Fiorina, News 8.
So interesting. Thanks, Steve. 4 of the 6 complaints in a homeless suit filed against the city and county of San Diego have been dismissed. The suit claimed discrimination against homeless people with disabilities during the fight against the spread of COVID-19. It accused housing and public health officials of steering those individuals into congregate living situations instead of hotel and motel rooms. While the judge ruled that most of the allegations were insufficient to go to trial, arguments on whether the agencies violated government code or if they acted improperly will move forward.
The police officer who shot and killed a San Diego woman during the Capitol riots has been cleared of any wrongdoing. According to a Justice Department investigation, the officer's actions were within department policy, which allows deadly force when an officer believes they are protecting themselves and others. Ashley Babbitt was the only rioter shot and killed by police on January 6th. Multiple cell phone videos captured Babbitt attempting to crawl through a shattered window when she was shot. Proud Boys extremist group leader Enrique Tarrio has been sentenced to 5 months in jail. Tarrio was responsible for burning a church's Black Lives Matter banner in Washington, D.C. He also pleaded guilty to bringing 2 high-capacity firearm magazines into the nation's capital 2 days before the January 6th insurrection.
More than 40,000 Californians are under evacuation orders right now as a dozen wildfires continue to rage up in the northern part of our state.
More than 13,000 firefighters are working nonstop to contain these fires, including the massive Dixie Fire. It's burned more than 720,000 acres and destroyed more than 1,200 buildings, but containment is up to 40% at last check. Concerns are now shifting to the Calder Fire south of Lake Tahoe. It's burned just over 100,000 acres and is only 5% contained.
South Bay leaders are calling for more funding from the Port of San Diego.
They say people in National City are suffering from toxic pollution released by port operations. A state report found a high amount of diesel particles in the air in the area, which can contribute to asthma, lung cancer, and other serious health conditions.
We deserve that same type of recognition, time, treasure, and talent of port resources for our working class community of color.
Mayor Sotelo Solis says the funding will help working class people of color recover from the pandemic. Still ahead, she's making history in the North County. We sit down for a one-on-one with Oceanside's new mayor. Plus,
Henri continues to drench the Northeast. I'm Bradley Blackburn on Long Island with more on new flooding concerns.
After a cool, drizzly weekend in the month of August, we have got ourselves a 10-day warm-up heading our way, and we're talking about temperatures up to 10 degrees above average. I'm meteorologist Sean Stiles. I'll have your microclimate forecast.
Yikes, Sean. But first, more videos said to be from Afghanistan. But are they authentic? We verified.